Andrew Mountbatten Windsor arrested over links to Epstein. Ex-South Korea leader Yoon gets life in prison for insurrection. U.S. oil contract WTI hits six-month high on U.S.-Iran tensions. Iran foreign minister says progress made in nuclear talks with U.S. in Geneva. U.S., Japan announce first tranche of $550 billion investments. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office, the BBC reported on Thursday. Andrew, the younger brother of King Charles III, has faced mounting scrutiny over his past links to the late U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. British media earlier reported that several unmarked police vehicles and plain-clothed officers arrived at Wood Farm on the Sandringham estate in eastern England. Thames Valley Police said earlier this month it was reviewing allegations that Andrew may have passed confidential government documents to Epstein. The claims emerged from files recently released by the U.S. government. Andrew, the second son of the late Queen Elizabeth II, has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing related to Epstein and has said he regrets their association. He has not commented publicly since the latest document release. A South Korean court on Thursday convicted former President Yoon Suk-yeol of insurrection and sentenced him to life imprisonment, ruling that his declaration of martial law last December was an attempt to cripple the country's democratic institutions. Presiding Judge Ji Gui-yeon told the Seoul Central District Court that Yoon ordered troops to the National Assembly in an effort to silence political opponents and disrupt parliamentary activity. The court finds that the intention was to paralyze the assembly for a considerable period, the judge said. Yoon declared martial law in a televised address in December 2024, claiming extraordinary measures were needed to eliminate what he called anti-state forces. The court ruled that the move caused severe political and social disruption. Judge Ji said the declaration resulted in enormous social costs and noted that Yoon had shown no clear remorse for his actions. "We sentence Yoon to life imprisonment," the court concluded. Oil prices climbed sharply on Tuesday, driven by fears that nuclear talks between the United States and Iran may fail, raising the risk of a new conflict that could disrupt global energy supplies. The U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate crude rose 2.2% to $66.62 a barrel, briefly hitting its highest level in 6 months. International benchmark Brent crude also gained, rising 2.0% to $71.76 a barrel. Traders are increasingly concerned that tensions between Washington and Tehran could escalate, potentially threatening oil flows from the Middle East. Iran and the United States say they have agreed on basic, guiding principles in talks aimed at resolving their long-running nuclear dispute, though officials stressed that a final deal is not close. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said discussions in Geneva had been constructive, with both sides exchanging ideas and reaching a general understanding. However, he warned that significant work remains. A U.S. official confirmed progress but said many details still need to be resolved. Iran is expected to present more specific proposals within the next 2 weeks. The talks were held indirectly, mediated by Oman, and involved U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and President Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner. Oman's foreign minister said both sides now have clear next steps. Following the comments, oil prices fell, with Brent crude dropping more than 1%, easing concerns about a potential conflict in the region. Meanwhile, Iranian state media reported that parts of the Strait of Hormuz were briefly closed during military drills by Iran's Revolutionary Guards, though it remains unclear whether the vital shipping route has fully reopened. The United States has announced the first round of Japanese investments under a $550 billion commitment agreed as part of a trade deal with President Donald Trump. Japan will invest $36 billion in 3 major U.S. infrastructure projects, marking the first concrete step in fulfilling promises made in 2025 in exchange for reduced U.S. trade tariffs. President Trump welcomed the move, saying Japan was now officially and financially moving forward with the investment plan. He added that the projects were made possible by tariff leverage. The announcement comes ahead of Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's planned visit to the White House next month, following Trump's visit to Japan in October. Takaichi said the projects would strengthen the US-Japan alliance by building resilient supply chains in key areas such as energy, critical minerals, and AI data centers. She described the initiative as mutually beneficial, enhancing economic security and promoting growth in both countries. Japanese and US officials said they would continue working closely to finalize project details and ensure smooth and timely implementation.